Well, living my life orchestrated by my very intentional wife.
Oh!
In all seriousness, we decided that we would create a very intentional program for my son. Program's probably a bit overscripted, but we were trying to identify the passage in his life stage of changing from a boy into entering into manhood, around 13, 14 years of age. And so crafted over probably a 12-month period to get a few mates and guys that Sam had built relationship with through relationship in our family and church life and so on, and just natural family relationships. Guys that Sam would respect and would want to listen to a bit of their story and would also be able to share some time with him in a very intentional way. So it was like herding cats, but eventually got it happening where they, one of them's a chef, another one's a musician, another one's a surfer, and they were gonna line up some time with Sam to take him for a day, or in some cases it was a whole weekend event where he would go away with them, hang out, do the things that they love to do that would bring them life, and talk about why those things were really important in a man's journey to do the things that you pursue that are going to bring you life. And to then identify some of that stuff for Sam, the things that they saw in his life, in the fact that he was growing up and transitioning into manhood, that were going to speak very positively into his world and into his life. He had a pretty good year that year because he got to hang out with his pop and my mates and other guys that he knows really well. They did some fun stuff which I really wanted to go and do myself, but it was a pretty good time. I guess the outcome of all that was that the culmination of it was at the end of that 12 months where they'd all been gathering intel on Sam, because as part of that day, they'd be hearing him, they'd be hearing a bit of his heart. That they were going to have a final piece where they spoke some stuff very intentionally into his life. Masculinity is imparted by other men. Only men can actually give masculinity to another man. So this was a very intentional and important piece. The culmination of all this was when they'd finished all their journeys, we got together and at a really great bush location. Each of them got to meet up with Sam on a very defined path. The end of that path was yours truly, me, and they got to just share something with Sam of the things that they saw about Sam that were unique, that were really special about the way he was wired and the uniqueness into the man that he was becoming. We filmed it. It was pretty cool, and at the end of that, they brought Sam to me at the end of this path, which had this great overlook of a cliff of a mountain towards where we live. And I got to do the same thing, to impart with Sam the things and the values and the personhood that I saw that he'd been wired and built to be, which are pretty spectacular in my view, but I'm a bit biased because I'm his dad. But I got to do that. As part of that process, which I struggled to get through because it was a pretty important time for me, we decided to recognise this rite of passage or this transition with the giving of a gift. And so I'd been in America a few months before, and he loved Bear Grylls. He could impersonate Bear Grylls and do the whole thing. So I went about finding a Bear Grylls knife while I was in the States, and we brought it back. And the gift to Sam that day was imparting him with a Bear Grylls knife, which was a pretty spectacular kind of gift, because you don't kind of give those things to a kid. So it was recognising that Sam was actually transitioning to a place in life where he could actually hopefully have a good time with this, but he had the maturity to be able to deal with that, and it was a recognition by me and the other men in his life that there was a defined transition process that was happening. And we then went back to our house where all of the partners and friends of those men were all waiting, and we had a basically celebratory barbecue, as we do, and had a really great time of celebration and shared stories, which is a really important piece. Our lives are nothing unless we get to share the stories, and we were creating a very important story in Sam, about Sam at this particular point in time that we could share together. And it was awesome, wasn't it?
It was, totally.
Yeah.